Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for the Tech Guy is provided by CacheFly. CacheFly.com. Hi, this is Leo Laporte, and this is my Tech Guy podcast. This show originally was recorded September 27th, 2014, for airing October 4th, 2014. But it's all new stuff. Don't worry. This is episode 1123. Enjoy. The Tech Guy podcast is brought to you by GoToAssist, the #1 global market leader in remote support. Sign up for GoToAssist before October 10th to get another Citrix product free for 6 months. Visit GoToAssist.com and get started today. And by BarkBox, a monthly box of high-quality, fun, and healthy goodies for your dog, delivered right to your door. Save 20% when you sign up for a new subscription. Visit BarkBox.com/TechGuy. That's BarkBox.com/TechGuy. And by Gazelle, the fast and simple way to sell your used gadgets. Find out what your used iPhone, iPad, or other Apple product is worth at Gazelle.com. Well, hey, how are you today? I shouldn't sing, I know. Leo Laporte here, the tech guy, not the singing guy. No, this isn't The Voice. This is the show where we talk about computers and the internet. Serious stuff, home theater, mobile phones, digital photography, all that jazz. In fact, our home theater guy coming up in about 33 1/3 after the hour. And let's see, I think Dick DeBartolo, our gadget guru and Mad Magazine's maddest writer, will be in the third. It's going to be a great show. Going to be a lot of fun today. Well, and also we can calm down. The iPhone's out, the Moto X is out, the Galaxy Note 4 is out. Anybody got a new phone? No new phone. All right, so we can calm down and try to now figure out, A, do you need a new phone? And I bet most of you do not. Don't feel pressured by the technology industry to run out and get a new phone. Not necessary. And then I guess B, if you're going to get a new phone, do you have to join a team? Are you Team Apple, Team Samsung, Team Android, Team Windows Phone? I got a lot of trouble from the Team Windows Phone. You know you're doing your job right in the technology sphere if different teams all hate you. Like if Team Android, Team Apple, and Team Windows Phone all think that you're a biased jerk, that you're obviously on another person's team. It's not a team sport, kids. It's just a phone. And it doesn't really, there's no Super Bowl. There's no World Series. It's just a phone. And you can choose one that you like. And it doesn't even put you on a team. It's, when I'm out and about, which is rare, because I'm a homebody. I'm a hermit. But when I'm out and about, I look and I see mostly iPhones, almost exclusively, at least in the California area. It's all iPhones everywhere the eye can see. And that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. Get yourself an iPhone, and for most people, you don't have to think about anything else. It's like, in the 90s, you got Windows, you got what everybody has. I celebrate the fact, though, that there are choices, and I understand choices make it harder to choose. You go to a restaurant, and it's a steak frite on the menu, a little steak and French fries on the menu. That's it. You're going to eat that. But then they give you a menu with all sorts of good-looking, delicious, and it's hard. It's challenging. What am I going to eat? I think a lot of people pick a favorite thing and they stick with it, whether it's food or phones. And if you've picked Apple, if you're on Team Apple or Team Android, Team Windows Phone, it's fine. My job, though, is not to really pick a team, but just to try them all and give my best, at least as most unbiased an opinion as I can. Of course, I have personal preferences, and I have to kind of think about those and overlook those. One of the reason I got in trouble with the Windows Phone crowd is because when using the new iPhones, the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus, I said, and I will stand by it, that this is the best camera phone on the market. And I think for most of us, if the camera is the #1 thing we're looking for, that's the one to get. Not only the most color accurate, the most crisp, the most satisfying photos, but also the widest range easily of photo apps so that you can do all sorts of things. The first good camera phones came from Apple, and they weren't very good if you look back at the early ones, but they were better than anything else out there. And as a result, all the camera apps came out first for Apple, and they still come out on Apple first. And in some cases, many of these, they're Apple only. So, and I think this is really an important part of why you buy a smartphone these days, is you want the photography stuff, the social stuff, because the phone's always connected. It's always in your pocket. You can always take pictures. And if should you choose, it's easy to share them. You don't have to get home, go to a computer, and hook it up. Now, the Windows Phone people are quick to point out that Nokia's Lumia phones, particularly the 1020, Leo, it's 41 megapixels. How can you compare that with Apple's measly 8 megapixels? It's just obvious that the 1020 is better. Yeah, okay. It's not a bad phone. Lumia's phones have excellent cameras. They have for years. I want to call it Nokia, but it's not Nokia anymore. It's Microsoft. They bought them. And in fact, I think they're kind of turning away from the Nokia label. So we'll call them Lumia, or Microsoft's Lumia. It's confusing. You know what I'm talking about, the Nokia phones. The problem with the 1020A is you got a big bulge for the camera. That's one of the reasons it's a better camera. And it's a little tricksy to use, and frankly, it doesn't do that well in low light. It looks great when there's plenty of sunlight out there, but 41 megapixels on a sensor that small means that it's not going to be great in, well, frankly, the conditions we mostly use our smartphones in. Indoors. Doesn't have to, low light doesn't mean, you know, the light of 15 birthday cake candles, low light. It means just a normal place. It doesn't mean the booth in the back in the corner in the dark of your favorite steakhouse. It could be just indoors at work. That's low light for digital photography, because these digital sensors need a lot of light. If you're outside and you're taking a picture on a sunny day, almost any camera in a phone is going to look pretty good, including the iPhone and the Lumia, especially the Lumia. In fact, I would argue if you're in that condition, the Lumia 1020 is going to give you the best picture, absolutely. But I, and many others, by the way, this isn't just my personal opinion, DxOMark, which has for years been kind of one of the go-to places to review lenses, to check out the quality, the acuity of lenses and other cameras, also says the iPhone is the best. But I don't, you know, those are technical measurements, number of megapixels and all of that. I have the Leo Laporte Tech Guy appealing index that I use. Is it an appealing photo? Which camera phone gives me the pictures that I look at and go, ah, that's nice? And day in, day out, the iPhone does. Now, I want to say, I do not carry day in, day out an iPhone. I do for, you know, as long as I can, and then I go back to Android because my heart, remember now, there's two people here. There's the attempting to be objective reviewer, and there's the individual, and my heart is with Android. I like Android. And frankly, I don't have many good choices in cameras on Android. I think Samsung's phones are great for cameras. The Galaxy S5, arguably one of the best. That new Note 4, I haven't got it yet. When I get it, I'll give you a review, but it looks like it will be even better. A great camera. I just can't bear what Samsung does to their software, so it's hard for me. But when we're just talking cameras, I think iPhone, and then, believe it or not, Samsung, the Galaxy S5 and the Note, and then maybe a little farther down, the Lumia 1020 and the 1520 and the Icon. There's newer ones, the 635 and so forth. Those are very good. Certainly nothing to sneeze at. You know, nowadays you get, most smartphones have pretty good cameras. There are a few that don't. And those you probably do want to stay away from. The Moto X last year was such a disappointment. I loved the phone in every respect, but the camera was not so good. The new Moto X camera is a lot better, by the way, and that's the phone I'm carrying around day to day. So I stand by my opinion that if the camera is the #1 point in getting a smartphone, get an iPhone. I doubt you will be disappointed. It gives appealing, satisfying pictures, and that's what I'm looking for. The color feels good. I've seen people complain. There's some Tom's Hardware blog, a gadget blog, complained of some color cast, some purple color casting. I have not seen that. in my iPhone. I just feel like it's great pictures. So much so that actually, if I'm going somewhere where I want to take pictures, I'll bring an iPhone as well as my Moto X phone. Of course, if you really care about it, you bring a good camera, don't you? If you really care about photography, you should get a good camera. The camera phone is really all about having something there in your pocket because you didn't bring a camera, because you didn't think anything would happen, and lo and behold, there's a horse wearing a hat with flowers and a funny coat. And gosh, I wish I had a camera. Oh, I do. That's when you wish you had it. So nothing wrong with Windows phones, and yes, the Lumias are great. The 1020 is amazing, certainly the most megapixels on a smartphone. I don't consider it the best camera phone, and I stand by that, no matter what the team Windows phone people might want me to say. We've got lots of calls today, lots to talk about, and I'm going to get to the phones and talk to some lovely people about their technology woes. Whoa, in just a bit. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hang in there. Your call could be next. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. We continue on with our first call of the day. I'm excited. We go to Serbia and Mitan online. Hi, Mitan. Thank you for holding on. I hope you're on Skype.
No problem. Yeah, I am.
Okay, good. That's great. Where in Serbia are you?
I'm from Belgrade. Yeah.
Belgrade. A beautiful. I've never been. Supposed to be a beautiful city, especially this time of year.
Yeah, but I think during the summer, it is just the most beautiful, you know. It's very warm, very sunny. It's not like California, but, you know, we're trying to be.
I will keep that in mind because I think it's somewhere I should go soon. Well, I'm very grateful that you listen to the show in Serbia. What can I do for you?
Yeah, well, I'm watching a lot of your shows, like this week in computer hardware, and Android shows, and Windows shows.
These are all for the radio audience. These are all podcasts. We get as geeky as they'll let us on the radio show, but when you really want to get down and dirty and hardcore with the tech, that's when you go to the podcasts and those like this week in computer hardware. Whew, that is that's geeky for me even. Yeah. Well, what can I do to help you today?
Well, I'm interested because I'm having a lot of Microsoft Word documents and Excel documents. You know, I have a bunch of them. It's a lot of technical stuff and a lot of tables and a lot of graphs. And I want to try to use some online service where I can edit those documents. So,
it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. Office 365. Microsoft.
I did not try that.
Oh, my gosh, it's great. So Microsoft really wants to move everything to the cloud. In fact, the newest version of Office by default will save to the cloud, not save locally, and all sorts of stuff. And they also have this web-based version of Office. Now, it sounds like your documents are fairly complex. It may be the case that some of the more advanced features are not available in Office 365. I don't know. It's pretty complete. And I've used it on not just on PCs, but I've used it on Macs and even Chromebooks. I mean, these are, you know, any modern browser does a very good job of Office in the cloud, the web-based Office. So I highly recommend. If you haven't tried it, I totally would try it.
Yeah. Okay, I will try the Microsoft Office.
Yeah, and then if you use OneDrive, Microsoft's cloud storage, you can store the documents there. You have Office. You have if you go to office.microsoft.com and click the tab that says Office Online. I guess they don't call it Office 365 anymore. They call it Office Online. But it is pretty impressive. Yeah, and it's free.
It's free. I didn't know that. Oh,
yeah. So they've done a nice job, I think, of making this. There are probably some things you can't do in a web browser that you're used to, but I just don't know what it is that what special things you may need. But many of the regular features of Office are there. This is OneNote Online. It looks just like OneNote. I mean, it has all the same capabilities. And the other thing that's cool about using a cloud-based Office is they can add features to Office very easily. And to a particular program very easily, and just you get them automatically, so you don't have to worry about updates and so forth. It does tables. It probably does a lot of the things that you'd want to do including the ability to put comments on there with document sharing. You can insert clip art, and all of it's saved to the cloud, so it's always available to you. Look, Google started this with Google Docs, and the Google word processor, spreadsheet, slide program are good, but they're a little bare bones. And I think Microsoft looked at it and said, we own this space. We own Office. Let's see if we can do Office on the web. And they've done a great job. To their credit, Apple's also done that. Pages, Keynote, and Numbers, their 3 Office programs, are also available in the cloud through their iCloud service. And in most cases, pretty good. There are a few things you can't do. VQ in the chat room saying you can't do fillable forms. If that's something you need, then you'd probably have to use the desktop version of Office. I believe in the long run, Microsoft wants you to move to the cloud, and they want you to use an online version of Office. So I think it's going to get better and better and better. This is in many ways the future for Microsoft. It's actually interesting. Strategically, I think they realize selling an operating system, selling an Office product, those are their 2 cash cows. The world's changing out from underneath them. Nobody really cares what operating system they're using. Everything's in the cloud. And so Microsoft has to respond to that. The good news is the man running Microsoft now, Satya Nadella, came from their enterprise and cloud division. So he understands this stuff. Hey, Meitan, what do you do for a living?
I'm a software developer.
I had a feeling you might be in the business. That's awesome. And do you write desktop apps or mobile apps?
The company in which I'm working, we are specialized in the desktop and in the mobile space. So we are developing the Android applications, and also we are working on the web applications. So we are like on the free front,
That's a lot. Yeah. And what languages are you working in primarily?
We have one section which is like for the C and C++,
yep.
Which is mostly the system programming and Linux.
Right.
And for the desktop, we're working on for the Windows, mostly the Windows platform. And for the mobile, we are now currently only covering Android. Because Android is very popular,
growing fast. And, would you say that you see more Android phones in Belgrade, or more Windows phones, or more iPhones?
To be honest, I think that Belgrade is maybe 95% Android.
Yeah.
So when I was like in Germany, you had, for example, more like Apple users, iOS users, because I'm working also outsourcing and for the Europe and towards Europe, and there is also a lot of people which use the Apple product, but in Serbia, I think mostly Android is popular.
Meitan, it's so nice. It's so nice to know you're listening. I really appreciate it. All the best to you, and please, if you ever make it to the States, come visit us, will you?
Yeah, I would very like to do that. And also, if you come to the Belgrade, you can contact me, and no problem.
I was hoping you'd say that. I got that out of you. Thanks, Meitan. It's great to talk to you. Take care. That's what's really interesting about smartphone usage. We look at what people are using in our neck of the woods, and we say, oh, everybody uses an iPhone. And certainly here in Northern California, everybody uses an iPhone. But it's different all around the world. In Russia, they love Windows Phone, I'm told. So it really can vary depending on what part of the world you're in. And so it's interesting. So Serbia, we'll make a little box, 95% Android phones. Sure, I think Android is probably, if you add it all up, dominant worldwide, I would guess. Shirley in Lomita, California. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Shirley.
Shirley.
Oh, Shirley. Are you Mr. Shirley?
She's been waiting.
What's your name, sir?
Here she is. Oh. Shirley.
Hello.
Surely you're joking. I'm going to have to put you on hold.
Not English.
I'm going to have to put you on hold, but we're going to get you right after the break, Shirley. Don't go away. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. I am Leo Laporte, the tech guy. He is Scott Wilkinson, our home theater guru. You can catch Scott weekly. I should call you our home theater geek because that's the name of his show, Home Theater Geeks, every What is it, Monday, Thursday? When?
Thursday.
Okay. Was Monday, now Thursday on the Twit Network. You'd think I'd know. What time? What time?
2:30 to 3:30 p.m. Pacific time, 5:30 to 6:30 Eastern time.
On many of these same podcast networks. Meanwhile, he's here joining us to talk about high-tech home theater, surround sound movies. What do you want to talk about today?
Well, there's kind of a big dirty little secret, if you will, in this transition that we're going through towards 4K or Ultra HD. We've talked about it on the show plenty of times, where HD simply isn't good enough anymore. You need 4K, that is 4 times the number of pixels that are on a current HD TV.
And by the way, we're seeing 4K. We're getting used to 4K on computers now. I have a 4K monitor at home.
Yep.
There are Ultra HD, believe it or not, smart
cell phones.
Yeah,
I know.
The LG G3 is a UHD. So I guess if I mean, of course, it's on a smaller screen. I don't know what the benefit is. It's probably more resolution than you'd ever need.
It is, unless you hold the screen right up to your nose.
Right. But even then,
yeah, for the most part, I don't see the need for that. But in a home theater with a very large screen,
looks good.
You can start to see the difference.
Yeah, and
more and more, we're going to start getting content. We already have streaming content from Netflix, and soon, if not now, from Amazon. And just recently, they announced a timetable for the rollout or the finalization of 4K Blu-ray. Now, I know you believe that physical media is on its way out, and in many ways, I agree with you. But they still are going to make a 4K Blu-ray.
I think at this point it's become a video file format.
It is. It's going to be more or less
not
kind of a
FILE, but PHILE. Somebody who's who's like really into video, and they want the highest possible quality. Then you would get a disc. But almost everybody, the convenience of downloading it really outweighs the quality issue.
Well, yeah, it does.
And
for
the quality is pretty good.
Well, I've heard a number of people say that when they watch a 4K stream, it kind of looks just about as good as 1080p Blu-ray.
Yeah, actually, Blu-ray. I guess what I was saying, because I haven't ever seen a 4K stream, so what I'm saying is 1080p looks fine on Netflix and other streaming now. It looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I suppose 4K might not look a lot better, but at least not initially.
And at least not initially, because it's so heavily compressed. So we're going to have 4K Blu-ray. The spec is going to be done by spring of next year, and then discs and players. You're going to need a new Blu-ray player to play them. Are going to be out by Christmas of 2015. But there's a little-known thing that you have to keep in mind, and that is copy protection. There is a form of copy protection that is used called HDCP, High Definition Copy Protection. And up until now, we have been using version 1.4. Well, 4K Blu-rays and possibly streaming are going to use the next version, HDCP 2.2. Now, here's the problem. Certainly the Blu-ray players, the 4K Blu-ray players will have HDCP 2.2, but every device in the signal chain has to have it as well.
Another reason this is going to die. Because how many people are not going to have what they need?
A lot. And this is a real problem.
I have to buy new cables now?
No. Not cables.
Well, the cable has to be HDCP?
No, I don't think so. It's just, no, it doesn't.
All right.
It's just carrying data.
Just the monitor and the device playing the back.
And if you're going through an AV receiver or a pre-pro.
Okay, so I need to buy a new TV, a new Blu-ray player, and a new receiver. But I can keep, here's the good news, my HDMI cable.
You can keep your HDMI cable.
Oh, what a relief.
Right. Yeah, really. But that's the thing. You know, if in fact, Nick sent me an email, asked me this very question. Should I'm ready to upgrade my AV receiver. Should I do it now? And my response is, well, if you're going to think about moving into the 4K or Ultra HD space and get a 4K display, you better make sure it has HDCP 2.2, and you better make sure that any AV receiver you get has it as well. And there aren't very many yet.
Is it conceivable that you could buy one that's upgraded later by firmware, or does it?
No,
it's a hardware thing.
It's a hardware thing. That's the trick, and that's the key that you have to keep in mind. It's
one more thing that's going to kill physical media, if you ask me.
Well, there you go. It's a very valid argument, no question about it.
Because streaming, you don't have to worry about this stuff.
Well, I don't think so. I'm not exactly sure how it's going to play out with streaming once that becomes more well-defined. For example, Sony has a 4K media server to which you download content and store it on a big hard drive inside the server, and then you can play it. Up until recently, it only worked with Sony TVs. Now it will work with any TV that has HDCP 2.2.
Right.
They limited it to Sony TVs, mainly, they told me at CEDIA, was because they knew that their TVs had this HDCP 2.2, but they didn't know any other TVs that did. So they said, well, we better limit it only to ours. Now more TVs are getting it, 4K TVs, and so they're saying, okay, we're going to open it up. We're going to unlock it, which is big news.
Anything Hollywood has to do with is bad news. I'm not kidding. They just are screwing this up royally. You know, there's a lot of movies I would like to watch on Netflix, or, okay, it's not free on Netflix. I go to Amazon streaming. It's not available. I go to iTunes. It's not available. You have to go to Amazon and buy a DVD or Blu-ray disc. I don't watch that movie. And I think what's going to happen, and what's sad is there's a lot of great movies out there that I would like to see that are just not available to stream in any form or fashion. And the industry's killing itself by doing that. They're throwing money away. And I'll tell you what, if everybody has to buy a new TV, a new AV receiver, and a new player to watch this new format.
Yeah, you're right.
I think they're crazy.
It's a big impediment.
Yeah.
It's a big impediment.
So how far out is all of this?
Well, like I said, the 4K Blu-ray, we will actually see product that we can buy Christmas 2015.
Yeah.
So it's a year and a half away,
You know, they're just encouraging piracy, if you ask me.
Well,
I mean, I don't want piracy. I think people should get paid for their work.
Exactly.
But I want to pay them. I want to pay them. I want to buy their work, and I can't.
Right. How does that make any sense at all? I totally agree with you on that. But there you go. I mean, the other side of that coin, of course, is that if pirates were to win and make everything free,
I can download a 4K video easily from the internet and watch it unprotected on my existing. I'd have to buy a new TV, I guess.
Yeah, you don't have a 4K TV.
I have a 4K monitor though on my computer, and I can watch it. You
could watch it on your computer.
Looks beautiful.
Sure, but I don't really want to sit at my computer and watch them.
But this way, I only have to buy a new TV.
Yes, exactly right.
I really don't.
It's a wild world. It's a wild world that, and we're in transition.
And
right
I would
now.
just
It's
like to
all
point
very up
out
in the
that they don't have to put this new copy protection in, and it would simplify things, right? I mean, I guess my AV receiver still wouldn't work. I'd still need a new TV, a new AV receiver, a new player, right?
Yep.
All right.
Yep. Probably so.
All right. So it's not just the copy protection; it's the whole.
Not
thing.
just.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scott Wilkinson writes about this stuff and does a great job at avsforum.com. He also talks about it on his podcast, Home Theater Geeks, every Thursday at twit.tv. But you can get old episodes or previous episodes at twit.tv/HTG. We love Scotty. Thank you so much for being here.
You bet, my pleasure.
And I will be back next week. We'll talk more about this. And I'd love to hear from you what you think, folks. So if you're ready to go 4K, I'm sure there's a lot of conversation on AVS Forum as well. Thank you, Scott. We'll talk next week. Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. Our podcast version of the Tech Guy Show brought to you by some great products, including my friends at Citrix and their wonderful tool for IT professionals, Citrix Go to Assist. You know, it's the #1 market leader globally, worldwide, in remote support. There's a good reason for that. They really do the best remote access, and they do things that nobody else will do. For instance, you can support mobile devices from mobile devices. You can support desktops from mobile devices. If you're an IT or support professional, you get that dreaded call or the beeper goes off, and oh man, I'm on vacation. You could fire up your smartphone and actually fix a problem from Hawaii, on the beach. It's pretty remarkable. They also have other solutions to make it easy, the ticket system and the change system and all. You're in IT. You need tools. This is the best cloud-based tool suite out there, and they've got a special deal right now. If you sign up for Citrix Go to Assist before October 10th, you got a few more days. You'll get another Citrix product of your choice, absolutely free for 6 months. Easy to use, cloud-based remote support allows you and your IT team to solve problems faster, screen share to diagnose and fix support problems fast, and use Go to Assist apps to deliver support anytime, anywhere, wherever you are. I love it. If you work in IT, you do want Go to Assist, and now you've got it free for 30 days, plus another Citrix tool free for 6 months when you visit gotoassist.com. Don't wait, though. The special offer ends October 10th. Gotoassist.com. Sign up today. I think you're going to like it. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, Shirley.
Yeah.
Oh, it kept John. Was that your husband there?
Yes, it was.
Yeah. What's his name?
Ron.
Ron, thank you for... So what you said, look, I can't take this anymore. Ron, hold the phone. And he just said, yes, dear. And he just stood there. That was nice of him. What can I do? What can I do for you, Shirley?
When I turn my computer on to read, I read the things that are going on on my computer, or I go to the email and I start reading or deleting, and as I'm working on it, my computer everything just goes down to the start button again. It minimizes.
I hate that, and you can't keep them open.
No. But I'll go back in there and press the E button, and it comes back on.
The E button?
Yeah, the Explorer button.
Oh, you have an E button.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of...
Not the button, but on my dashboard.
So you have some sort of special keyboard that has... Is that on the keyboard or on the screen you're pressing the E button?
The dashboard.
The dashboard.
I guess that's what you call it.
Is it? But it's a physical dashboard on the keyboard?
No, on the television. I mean, on the computer.
So you have an E button on your computer.
Yeah.
You mean the Internet Explorer icon? Oh, the icon.
Yeah, the icon.
Yeah, okay. So you click that.
And
everything comes back.
Yeah, everything comes back. And this will go on. I can do this for maybe sit here for about 20 minutes, 30 minutes, maybe an hour, and then they'll go minimize.
It all disappears. But you press the E button and it comes back.
It comes back.
And these are all web pages? They're not like programs you're running, but you're on the web.
No, I'm on the web.
Yeah. So the E button, of course, that's Internet Explorer. That's your browser. And it's minimizing. And, of course, that's one of the behaviors. If you click on a minimized icon in the taskbar, it'll maximize again. So I'm wondering what it is that's making it minimize. That means shrink back down into the...
See, now everything went off.
It just did it just now. And you weren't touching anything.
I wasn't touching anything. I just had the page on, and it disappeared.
So there are keystrokes that will do this. I think Windows M will minimize everything, and that's designed so you can, get everything out of the way, work on a desktop thing, and then click the E button and it comes back. But you're not touching anything.
Not touching anything.
You're just looking at it, and it's just... Now, let me ask you, what version of Windows you're using?
7, I think.
Okay.
It is. But when I bought my computer, it's a Sony, and it had Bio on it.
Yeah, Sony Vaio, yeah. And is it a laptop or a desktop?
It's a desktop all-in-one.
It's a desktop all-in-one. Sometimes, there is a shake feature on Windows 7 where you can make stuff disappear, but you're not shaking it. You're not shaking it.
No.
And since it's a desktop, even if you were, it wouldn't know. So that's not it. It's possible that you have a stuck key, but I don't think that's it either. It does when it all goes shrinks down. Is there's anything else pops up?
No.
So there's a few. Okay, so I'm just thinking there's a few things that could cause this, and I can't tell from here which of them there is. It could be that there's a little short circuit in your mouse or your keyboard. It seems unlikely, but it could be a wiggly, loose cable. Make sure everything's plugged in well on this. It's very easy to do this by accident. If you are on the keyboard, by hitting, for instance, the Windows M key, everything will do exactly what you just described. The other possibility is that there's a program running in the background that wants your attention, and it is programmatically shrinking everything. But the screen doesn't go dark, and you don't see a pop-up. It's just you see your desktop, and everything shrunk down to the E icon.
I have, in this corner of my computer, I can touch it, and it has shortcuts. You think that has something to do with it?
Yeah, it could. Is your mouse? Do you habitually move your mouse into a corner when you're stepping away from it, or anything like that?
No, I put it up on top.
Yeah.
My arrow on the top.
Oh, you do. You move your arrow to a specific place.
Yes.
And you leave it there.
I leave it there.
Yeah. Try just maybe there's. Just don't move the arrow there. Move it somewhere else, like over to the right or something. Because it could be there's some, what unfortunately happens, and I don't know exactly how they've done this, but Sony and others customize their system with special, on-screen controls and things, and maybe there's something there. If you move your mouse pointer to the upper right-hand corner, that will do it. If it's hitting the upper right-hand corner. The problem is...
I don't put it exactly in the corner by the little icons. I put it, not quite, like 3/4 in.
If you click on the corner, it will do exactly what it is. But I don't think that's it, because you were just sitting here right now. You weren't touching anything. And it just happened.
Yeah.
Boy, this is a really interesting conundrum.
I know. I have a friend that comes over, or sometimes I give him the, what do you call that? The team.
Oh, TeamViewer.
TeamViewer.
Yeah, so he'll go on your computer with TeamViewer and look at it. So he's pretty sophisticated.
He's done too. He says he doesn't know what's going on. So
he's pretty sophisticated. It's hard when you're not present, though, because there could be some.
He said he was going to come over.
Yeah, if he comes over, yeah. Do you restart the machine from time to time?
I just turn it off on a start button with the shut off.
Yeah, I would try. I mean, this is silly, but if you call tech support, the first thing they say is, "Okay, reboot." So that's certainly gets rid of a lot of little flaws in there. Chat room's giving me some suggestions from their vast experience. One person says right-click on the desktop, select Personalize, and reset to default theme settings. You might have something special going on in there. Yeah, I mean these are all guesses. Understand, because we're not sitting in front of the keyboard and looking at it. It's kind of hard to tell, even for your friend who's remote accessing your computer. Not necessarily easy to figure out from a distance what's going on. Do you have a screensaver on your computer?
Yes.
You might disable your screensaver. One thing, for instance, that could be happening is your screensaver is set to come on after, say, 30 minutes. But there's something wrong with it. It can't launch. But it can get far enough to clean up, to minimize everything. And then it goes, and it doesn't go any farther. So you never see the screensaver. I would disable your screensavers. Okay? Okay. That certainly would help. There's, it's something, it's some interaction, obviously. Some program is doing something, and it's hard for us to look at it and see. So you did reboot in the sense that you turned it all the way off.
Yes, I turned it
all the way on again.
Yeah, okay. I shut down.
Yeah, good. That's a good thing to do in general. I would turn off the screensaver, and then let's go to the personalize menu. So the way you get to that is you You could do it in your control panel, but the easiest way is to right-click, use the right mouse button, and click on your desktop. That'll pop up a menu. It's called a context-sensitive menu. It knows what you're doing, and it'll say, "Oh, I see you are on the desktop," and it'll show a menu. One of the menu items will be personalize. If you click that and you go into the personalize, you can reset to the default theme. It may be that you have a custom VIO theme that's doing something. It makes sure your mouse isn't in the corners. Those can be set to do that. The chat room's giving me a YouTube video to watch. That's not going to help me, chat room, because see, I'm in the middle of a show right now. So,
okay.
But we'll put a link to this YouTube video that describes a similar problem and solution. We'll put that in our show notes at techguylabs.com. I'll watch that during the break and see if that's something that maybe could be.
Okay, the screensaver, click that and turn it off?
Yeah, I would do that. Apparently, there is a Windows 7 minimize bug, and that's what this video talks about, how to fix the Windows 7 minimize bug. So maybe you've stumbled upon something I've never seen before, but it sounds like there may be a bug in Windows 7 that you can fix. So what we'll do is we'll put this in the show notes at techguylabs.com, and unfortunately, it's in German, this video.
Okay.
But it does, I'm seeing, it looks like it involves Internet Explorer. So it sounds like this might be, you might be seeing this problem that this guy is describing.
Okay, my screensaver came on and it says change power settings.
Yeah.
Do I press that? No.
You're on your screensaver. Yeah, just disable the screensaver, just in case that's what's setting it. This thing.
How do I do that?
You're going to have to go to the screensaver settings and just say none instead of screensaver. But I'm just looking at this. This looks like there is actually a registry bug. This might be a bug. You might have discovered an unusual but common bug on Windows. I'll tell you what. I'll take a look at it. We'll put it in the show notes. We'll get back to you. Sorry, I couldn't be of more help. That's the best I can do right now, Shirley. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hey, how are you today? We talk tech here each and every weekend at this time. I think on some stations it's a weekday. Whatever. The key is that we're here, and you're here, and that's all that counts. And if we talk about high tech every week, because there's lots to talk about each and every week. I was talking about smartphones at the beginning of the hour, last hour, and one other thing I wouldn't mind mentioning. So if you don't mind if I stay on smartphones for a little bit longer. It's so funny. When I started doing this years ago in the early 90s, it was about computers. It wasn't even about the internet yet, because most people weren't on the internet. It was about computers. Windows 3.1. Yikes. But nowadays, I've said this many times, the computer you use the most is the one in your pocket. That is your computer, and for many people, for most of us, it's not your only computer, but for many people around the world, it is. Always on the internet, that's great. So the debate, and I love it now, is over size. How big should it be? And certainly if it's your only computer, you want a big screen, as big a screen as you can pocket conveniently, which means 6 inches. We hear that actually there's a 6-inch phone, the next Google phone. They're going to call it the Nexus X. Its code name was Shamu. Shamu the killer whale, after the killer whale. It's a whale of a phone because it's almost 6 inches. Microsoft Nokia Lumia makes a 1520, which is 6 inches, and I carried it a while. And I like it. But that's inconvenient for some, and especially Apple users who have unaccountably decided that a phone is no good unless you can use it in one hand. And this is the complaint I hear a lot about the iPhone 6 Plus, certainly, and even the new iPhone 6, which is only a measly, for those of us who've been using big phones, a measly 4.7 inches. And people say, oh, I just can't use it in one hand. And it's funny because most of the rest of us have been using two hands for a while. I can use one hand to make a call, to read my texts, to type out a response. Yeah, there's stuff at the top of the screen that I, might have to, get my other hand and touch it. It doesn't seem like a hardship, but if you're used to single-handed operation, I guess. After using the 6 Plus and the 6, the new iPhones, for a while, and I know people are still wondering, what size should I get? If you are an iPhone user, you probably should get the smaller of the two, the 6. It's going to be bigger, and in some cases for you, it will. So people, my hand hurts. It stretches so wide holding the phone. I think even up to 6 inches, most people can hold in in one hand. It's not a basketball. You don't have to be Wilt Chamberlain to palm these phones. You can pretty much hold it in one hand. And admittedly, you can't use, one hand to operate it fully. Although the iPhone, Apple's put something I have mixed feelings about. Interesting in the iPhone. If you have a new iPhone, double tap the home button. Not press it. Now, this is a little weird, but you can just tap it. Not press it in, but just double tap it. Just tap, tap. And the screen shrinks down to 1/2 size so that you can reach the top. It's a little odd, but if you're, and obviously Apple realizes that iPhone users want to operate it with one hand. Please, not while you're driving. Please, I beg of you. Please, I don't know why you only have one use of one hand, but I hope it's not because the other one's on the steering wheel. I beg of you. And if you have small hands, there are plenty of small phones out there. Even in the Android space, there are minis. They call them minis. And Apple's still selling the 5, which is pretty thin. And I guess, are they still selling the 4S? That's the 3.5-inch phone. Does seem like a postage stamp now. I would say that you should try before you buy. And if you can, and by the way, most carriers will let you do this. Try it for a few days or a week or 2 weeks even. Most carriers will let you do that. And you just say, no, it's too big, and bring it back and get the little one. But I would try a big one just because there's so much screen real estate, so much easier to read. Unfortunately, with the iPhone, the new iPhones, you're not getting much benefit with a bigger screen. Everything's bigger, but you're not getting more real estate because apps have yet, in the most cases, have not yet adapted themselves. So they're just being blown up to a bigger size. That's not the reason to get a bigger phone. The reason to get a bigger phone is because there's more dots and you can put more stuff on the screen. You can have more icons, or you can have more controls or more information. It's easier to read a page because the text is bigger, yes, and also maybe it's formatted a little bit more easily and so forth. I'm a fan of big phones, as I said. I've been using them for a long time. My advice now to iPhone users, I've really modified it because before they came out, I said, oh, get the big one. You'll be happy. I'm thinking for most people, the 6, the 4.7-inch iPhone is big. Next year, get used to the 6. Next year, you can go to a 6, or 2 years from now, go to a 6 Plus. I wonder. The 6 Plus is in short supply, but my thinking is not so much because it's in such great demand, but just because they couldn't make very many of them. They were having issues with the screen and so forth. I don't think it's in big. I don't know. I don't think it's in great. I don't see a lot of them around. In fact, I'm kind of surprised given all the attention we've given to the iPhone 6 over the last few weeks and the fact they sold 10 million phones in the first 24 hours. I think most of them are in China because I have not yet seen an iPhone 6 in the wild. I'm the only one who has them. And you want that, right? That's one of the reasons we get in line. You want to have the iPhone and people go, "Oh, what's that?" And it's always why you get the newest thing, right? Lisa, my girlfriend, was very disappointed. She went to a card game group that she's been going to every month with the new iPhone. And it was the day after it came out. And I think she really thought people would gather around and say, ooh, what's that? And she was a little disappointed. There was no interest. It's like, oh, that's nice. You have a new phone. That's nice. Let's play cards. So maybe there's also, I think there's a little fatigue, isn't there? We're a little jaded now with the next new shiny and the next new shiny after that and the next new shiny after that. I think perhaps the time has come for us just to keep the phone we have for a little longer, not be so enamored of the next new thing, not pour our money down that pit, but merely keep the phone you got. And if you are, if it's been 2 years or more and you're ready for a new iPhone, especially if you're coming from a 4S or earlier, get the iPhone 6. Let the big guys get the 6 Plus. That's the Shaquille O'Neal phone, the Shamu. Although it's interesting to watch as all the Android folks who have been waiting for Google to announce its new phone, it's a small but devoted group of people that want the Google Nexus phone because it's pure Google. It will be the first phone that will have, it should be out in just a couple of weeks. It will have the new version of Android L. And everybody and then they saw that it was going to be 5.92 inches on the screen. And I think a few of them went, what? That's not a phone, that's a tablet. How big can you go? Are we going to have 7-inch phones? They do in Europe. Are we going to have 8-inch phones? Now it's a tablet, isn't it? I've talked to many people who say, you know, if the iPad mini only had phone capability, I'd be happy. I'd have everything I want in one device. Is that too big? How big is too big? We can talk about that. I increasingly have the opinion that 4.7 inches, which happens to be the size of the last year's Moto X, which I just loved, and the new iPhone, is just right. It just feels good, at least in my hand. It's a very personal choice, obviously. But I believe that is the one that most people should get. In fact, I might even, you know, I have the new Moto X, which is 5.2 inches. It's just, you know, what is that? That's not, you know, that's a half an inch bigger diagonally, which doesn't even make it that much wider or taller. But it somehow. What size is right for you, huh? Let's talk about it. We go back to the phones in just a bit. TechGuyLabs.com is the website. I am Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Looking for your call next. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Back to the phones we go. And Reza in San Diego. Hi, Reza. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hi, Leo. How you doing?
I'm doing well.
Taking my call.
Just down in San Diego yesterday. Beautiful, beautiful place.
I know.
Gorgeous.
I saw my Google Plus, and I was surprised why you were here.
I went down for one day only.
I know.
And I went to see a play at the Old Globe Theater, the new Steve Martin, Edie Brickell play called Bright Star. Which is, and by the way, recommend it. It's wonderful, and then you'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll be in shock, and at the end you'll be romantic, and it's just a wonderful, beautiful music.
Cool.
Yeah. What can I do for you?
Just one comment before I go by question. I got my Moto X, and I just heard you were talking about it.
Love my new Moto X too.
Same here. But one problem.
By the way, it just woke up because I said love my Moto X and said, yes, Leo. What can I do for you? One of the things they've changed, you know, so the original Moto X, this is a Google phone. They still own Motorola for a few more months anyway. And this just came out the last couple of weeks. And one of the things both the original Moto X and this new one do is listen all the time. So you can wake them up. In the past, you've had to say, I can't remember, okay, Google now, something like that. But you can change it, and mine, I made it say, okay, Moto X. But it seems like there should be something clever. What do you use for your wake-up phrase?
Hey, Moto.
Hey, Moto.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's good. You know, Apple goes, hey, Siri. I just feels like it's kind of short, and I might accidentally set it off. But, of course, I just accidentally set it off this way, too. So, what can I do for you?
Well, I bought it outright, unlock. And this is my second Google Motorola Moto X.
Mm-hmm.
But I noticed AT&T this time. I mean, on the Moto Maker, it was the question that what's your carrier, perfect carrier.
Right.
And I choose AT&T, which I thought it was unlocked one, but I'm going to use AT&T.
No, see, if you choose a carrier, they'll carrier lock it. So
I know now they put a lot of apps from AT&T.
Oh no, there's AT&T apps on it. Oh, how annoying.
Yeah.
See, I bought it unlocked, but I have to pay more, right? Because I bought it unlocked.
That's how I bought it. I mean, it was like around the tax and everything came out around $600.
So this is an important distinction. You bought it unsubsidized, not unlocked.
Exactly.
Yeah. So unlocked means it can be any GSM carrier. You just put their SIM card in, and it has no carrier cruft on it, no AT&T, Verizon, anything on there. Unsubsidized is that you might as well buy unlocked. Unsubsidized means you're paying the full price, in this case over $500, but you specified a carrier, which means it's going to be locked to that carrier. So in order to get unlocked, you have to specify unlocked. You got unsubsidized, which means, you know, and you might as well get unlocked if you get unsubsidized.
Will
they let you return it? Do they have a return policy?
I'm pretty sure they do, because so maybe I can just exchange it with another one. I have to call them tomorrow.
Yeah, I would.
We'll find out.
I would. I mean, it's easy enough to get, you know, I mean, look, you just hide the AT&T stuff.
It's like 8 gig of memory.
Oy! Yeah. See, this is why it's interesting, because Apple avoids that, because I guess because they have so much clout in the marketplace. But no Apple phone, whatever the carrier, has anything from the carrier on it.
Yeah.
And I love that. They don't even have a carrier logo on it.
Great
I love
phone.
that. Yeah. But I love the Moto X, and I would recommend. Yeah. Hi. I just said hi. I just said your name. I love the Moto X, and I would recommend it. But yeah, if you want to use it outside the U.S. or you want to use it with both T-Mobile and AT&T, then I would get the unlocked version. This actually was unlocked but had a T-Mobile SIM in it. So I'm not sure what that means, but I guess it doesn't have any T-Mobile stuff on it. That's what I like. Yeah. How's your battery life been? You just got it, so you probably...
Double got it yesterday, and so far pretty much same like my first one.
Okay.
And I'm using both one actually. I'm using iPhone 6 and this one. I'm carry 2 phones at a time.
Yeah, I probably do the same too. You're crazy, crazy man.
Yeah.
I feel like the iPhone, they really improved the battery life, even on the smaller iPhone, on the 6. I don't feel like the new Moto X is as good as the old. Yes, hi Moto. I do feel it really wants to be loved. Every time I say its name, it goes, "Hi Leo. What can I help you?" I do feel like the battery life is not great on this. Here's what I feel like with battery life. Look, I know I'm going to charge any phone every night. I just want to get it to the night. I want to be able to get up in the morning, 7 in the morning, 6 a.m., whatever time you get up, and have it go without plugging it in again until I go to bed. If you sleep 8 hours a night, that would be 16 hours. Let's say let's stay up late one night, 18 hours. Love just 16 to 18 hours of battery life. I'm getting more like 12 on the new Moto X. That means I have, yeah, hi. Yeah, and I'm talking about you. Not so nice either, okay? Keeps waking up. 12's not enough. 12 means that at 7 p.m., I'm out of juice. What if I want to trip the light fantastic? What if I want to go clubbing with my homies? What if I just want to stay up and watch TV? I don't want the phone to have to be plugged in. So to me, acceptable battery life is a minimum of 16 hours. And I'd like to see 18. And there are phones that do that. The Galaxy Notes do that. The OnePlus One that I had did 20 hours consistently. Now you may say, and it's certainly true, that usage changes this, and that's why you can't get a good number out of these guys. You just have to use it as you use it. And so if you're looking at it every minute of the day, it's going to have worse battery life. There's some apps, Facebook's notorious for this, that just keep the phone alive, downloading stuff from Facebook every 5 minutes. You've got to look and see what's using up your battery life and get rid of those things. But I feel pretty confident that in normal use, you're going to get about 12 hours out of this, and that just feels inadequate to me. Let's see. We got a little time. Let's see if we can get John in from Laurel, Maryland. Hey, John, Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hi, Leo. Thanks for taking my call.
My pleasure.
Well, I've got a bunch of old XP machines that were replaced with used Windows 7.
Replaced with old Windows 7 machines.
Yeah.
Good man.
I tried the other one, and that's not good stuff.
Yeah, no, I like 7.
I love it. But,
and remember, we've got a new version of Windows coming out end of the month. Actually, no, it just came out. They talked about it. It won't be out till the spring. I apologize. Spring.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah.
But no, we got old Windows ones. I've been trying to put Linux on them because it's free and I don't have to take a drill bit to the hard drives in. But they're old. They're old e-machines mostly.
Oh man, that's the worst.
They're slow.
Yeah. Well, there are versions of Linux. Linux is a free Unix-based operating system.
Yeah.
And there are versions for old and slow computers like Xubuntu. There's one called Darn Small Linux, except it's not darn, but if I say it the other way, they'll cancel the show.
Yeah, I thought that was command line.
Well, that's small. So graphic user interface takes up space and CPU. So the way you get Linux to be compatible with these slow old machines is by demanding less of it. You could still have a graphical user interface on that. I mean, look, Windows XP did. It can't be that. How much RAM do you have?
Oh, gosh, anywhere from 256 to 500 meg.
Yeah, that's not a lot, of course. I would say Puppy Linux, Xubuntu. You're going to shop around. If you go to Linux distro, what is Linux? It's distrowatch.org. That's it. They have a list of all the distros. You can find a small one, tiny one. They're free. That's nice. You can try them all. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. More calls coming up. Where's Ozzy? Where's my dog? I think we sent him home. Ozzy loves this next sponsor. BarkBox. Have you seen BarkBox? Okay, this is a great category. It is treats for your dog delivered by box monthly. Each box contains 4 to 6 full-sized awesome products, innovative toys, gadgets, all-natural healthy treats, and more. Every month, it's something new and different. So it's fun for your dog. It's surprising for you and your dog, and you will find stuff that you aren't going to see anywhere else. Unique products. Your dog also deserves the best. That's why BarkBox. I wonder if my BarkBox is around here. I want to show you my current box. I think Ozzy took it home. Did he take it home? BarkBox always does the best stuff. All treats sourced from the U.S. and Canada only. The chews are made in the U.S., Canada, some South America, and Australia, and New Zealand. The BarkBox products do not contain rawhide. Did you know that's bad for your doggy? Or anything processed with formaldehyde. You don't want to eat your dog eating formaldehyde. Minimal processing, often organic, and whenever possible, BarkBox contains no glycerin, wheat, gluten, soy, corn, or fillers. These BarkBox treats, the jerky burgers from American-sourced duck. There's only duck in here. No grain, no fillers, just the best stuff for your dog. Ozzy loves these. And you know what's cool is you can break them up into little bits. So we chose the BarkBox for small dogs. They have BarkBoxes for all dog sizes, right? And so these are little tiny chews that are just right for Ozzy's mouth, but you can even break them up. In fact, I think one bag can be broken up into 1,000 pieces. Doesn't it say that? No, I'm sorry. I was exaggerating. 150 pieces, though. That's pretty good. Guaranteed, your dog will love the taste. All the BarkBox stuff is guaranteed. Look at this. Paw tested. This is I'm going to read what this is. This is a Letterman jacket. Yeah, the Loopy's Letterman jacket, proudly sporting your Letterman jacket is one of the most beloved homecoming traditions. Doesn't your pup deserve one? This is not clothing, though. I think he's going to chew it up. Yeah. All you have to do is that, and Ozzy would be devouring it. You got the Nudie Jerky Burger Barbecued Duck. You got the, Doggy Bacon from Indigo Smokehouse Strips. Made in USA, see? Good stuff. This is, Etta says, Crunchy Rabbit Chews. Made from wholesome American rabbit. There's a dozen rabbits in every... No, I'm just kidding. Puppies love these. These are great. And by the way, if you like a treat that's in the BarkBox, they have an order code, so you can order them directly. You know, say, I want more of that. Every month, your dog will love you. Right now, you can save 20% off when you sign up for a new subscription. Look at that one, Barkley. That's crunchy. Oh, Ozzy's going to love that. 20% off when you go to barkbox.com/techguy. Here's something nice, too. BarkBox gives 10%. They love dogs. They love dogs, and they give 10% of their revenue to local rescues and shelters across the U.S. and Canada. So your subscription will also help dogs in need. It's kind of fun every month. It's kind of a present for your dog. You might kind of think of it, but this way you don't have to worry about it. It just comes every month. Very affordable, really fun. BarkBox.com/techguy, 20% off. We thank BarkBox for their support of the show. Love that. BarkBox friends forever. Oh, by the way, your doggy will love your mailman because all of a sudden he brings treats. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. And here he is, the travel guy. He's got, you know, I think I have the best job in the world. I love what I do. But golly, sometimes I wish I were Johnny Jet, traveling the world in style, seeing the world. It's good to talk to you once again. JohnnyJet.com, our travel guru. Hi, John.
Hello, Leo.
Do you ever get tired of traveling? Do you ever want to just
very
stay home?
Rarely. The only time I do is when I get long delays.
Yeah.
And actually, I learned how to travel. So the big thing is, when I used to check a bag, it used to drag things out because you got to show up to the airport early. You got to wait for it to come out. If it even does come out, waiting in long security lines, or waiting in line to check your bag and then waiting in a long security line. But, now these days, if you're a savvy traveler, you'll have TSA pre-check. You'll have global entry. So when you land, you can go zip right through customs. And when I come to Canada, I have Nexus. And the trick is, by the way, is to get Nexus, because if you come to Canada a lot, because it only costs $50, it lasts for 5 years, and it includes global entry and TSA PreCheck, because TSA PreCheck usually costs $85 for 5 years, and global entry usually costs $100 for 5 years.
By the way, Hipmunk, which is a great site for aggregating travel so you can find the cheapest deals, they rank flights by agony. And I think that's a great measurement. I'm going to say the number one agony measurement is how much time you spend in the airport compared to how much time you spend in the airplane. If the less time I spend in the airport, the happier I am. I don't mind being on the airplane. It's driving to, getting to, going through the security, all of that stuff. If I could speed that up, huge difference in the agony.
Well, there are these days, though, we're lucky that the airports have gotten a lot better, especially where you live. San Francisco's T2 with Virgin American and
Terminal
American
2.
Airlines. I love it. It's one of my favorite terminals. It has all the local food.
But then there's stuff out of your control. I don't know if you remember, but a couple of weeks ago we went to San Diego for a day, and
one of the worst airports.
And we went from SFO. Another one of the worst airports. But and we were delayed 4 hours. It turns out that wasn't because of the airports or low clouds or any of that. Some guy at the FAA in Chicago sets the place on fire.
Oh, so that was 2 days ago. You were on United or Chicago or American?
Yeah, we were on Southwest. So what happened was
that's a big
the
one
airport shut down. But there's a ripple effect. So we weren't flying to or from Chicago, but because I think 1,200 American flights got canceled. I don't know how many hundreds of Southwest flights got canceled. So because of that, equipment's not moving around as expected, and it just ripples throughout the whole system, doesn't it?
Well, when I saw that happen, actually, I have a deals newsletter, and I sent it out right away. And in the front, I said, breaking news, there's been a fire at the Chicago FAA, and that no matter where you're flying, you should check your flight status because there's going to be delays today because it's going to be a ripple effect. And that happens often, especially when there's like a storm on the East Coast. Whenever it's a major hub like Chicago or New York, there's a problem there, there can be a ripple effect. So that's why you really always need to sign up for flight alerts. We've mentioned it before. I love TripIt. You get the TripIt Pro. They'll let you know in advance.
Yes, and I did. We actually took our time going to the airport because we knew. So
did they not tell you? Did Southwest not update their status?
We had set it up so that they would call me. So I was getting like a lot of calls from Southwest. Next time it'll be text, not calls. But no, so we knew. And TripIt also, we knew. But here's another point to be made in all of this. It's also going to tie up the lines for the various airlines, for Expedia. We were trying to change our flight. We couldn't get through. And at first we didn't know why the flight was delayed, so we called to change our flight, and we were on hold for a long time. Once I found out why, I realized everybody and their brother's changing their flight.
I know. That's when you got to mention. I sorry to cut you off, but that's when you got to sign up for my buddy Cranky Concierge. So he'll charge you like $135, but you will not have to sit online all day long, and they'll do it.
But he's going to have the same problem that I do. Or maybe he has like a lot of minions.
But he has a team doing it. Yeah. And he has connections and stuff like that. But that way you don't have to worry about it.
A person I followed on Twitter, her hotel reservation was screwed up, and she said the wait time in Expedia is 73 minutes. She didn't know, but the reason it was 73 minutes. It's not normally that long. It's because everybody was changing their flights because of this fire. So the effect something like this goes throughout the entire travel industry. It's not just the flights. Everywhere.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
That's why,
crankyconcierge.com.
Yep.
Good to know.
He's based in LA, and he started it, and now he's growing. I mean, I think he's going to sell it one day for big money.
He's not alone. There's a lot of people cranky.
but besides cranky, by the way, that's why you want to have a travel agent, because if you had a travel agent do it, they will get on the horn for you.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
So that's why I'm a big fan of travel agents for emergencies like this.
Yes.
Because you never know when something's going to pop up.
Yes.
And a good travel agent will take care of it. You can just hang out at your hotel or the beach or whatever you want to do.
All right. So I've learned my lesson.
I got a travel app for you. I don't know how much time we have. I have a website.
We have 4
and
minutes and no seconds. Go ahead.
All right. And I have a daily tip I think I should start doing because it went well last segment.
Do them all.
So here's my travel app. It came from one of your listeners, Moovit, Moovit. Have you heard of it?
No, what is it?
So the best way, the shortest way to explain it is that it's like Waze for public transport.
Waze is a great GPS app that'll tell you where traffic is bad.
Exactly. So this will tell you for public transportation. So right now I'm in Toronto, so I just downloaded it and it tells me, which way I should go, which bus to wherever I put in. So, I don't know if it works all around the world, but it definitely works in North America. And it's free on iOS, Android, and Windows. But it uses Moovit, and what it does, it uses real-time updates from users like Waze.
Oh, that's neat.
And for the quickest, most convenient routes in real times across your city entire transit system.
That's cool because that's the nice thing about Waze, too. You can't rely on the mass transit people to tell you in timely fashion where there's problems. But if you're watching the GPSs of people as they move around, you know exactly where there's delays.
Right.
That's great.
So that's from one of your listeners. So I thank him.
Thank you.
And my other one, by the way, is I got a daily tip for you. So this one I did with my dad. My dad's on a lot of prescriptions. So when we were I took him to Europe this summer, and he shows up and he forgot his prescriptions. I go, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? You only have like two days worth. We're there for 10 days. So we went to this little sleepy town in France. We were on a cruise, Sete, S-E-T-E. And my dad's like, let me go to a pharmacy and see if they have his prescription. I said, there's no way they're even going to speak English. Well, I was wrong. The woman spoke perfect English. And she says, if you have a copy of your prescriptions, I can fill them. Oh,
perfect. Bring your prescriptions.
So not just bring your prescriptions, but the ship was pretty far away. So I said, you know what? I actually took a photo of it.
Smart man.
And she said, I can work off the photo. So my tip is to always take a photo of your prescriptions. That way, if you need them refilled, a lot of pharmacies around the world will do it.
Nowadays, boy, Evernote or Google Keep or whatever notes application you're using, OneNote from Microsoft, will let you snap pictures. It'll synchronize with your phone and your desktop. Take a picture of your passport. Take a picture of your eyeglass prescription. Take a picture of your medicines. Why not? It takes no room, and then you've got everything to hand. Maybe even pictures of your tickets.
Yeah, it helps. It helps big time.
Yeah. I always have a picture of my passport page and my driver's license. Great tip. All right, you got a minute left.
I got a minute left. All right, so let me get this one.
The clock is ticking.
All right. Here I promised an app. So I'm sure you heard of Open Table, which is a very popular app.
Use it.
So they have a new function now where you don't have to wait for your bill. You can pay your bill via the app. So for 50 restaurants in New York City is a test market, and it includes like some of the really good ones like Le Cirque and Smith and Walensky. But all you do is instead of trying to flag down your waiter, which happens to me all the time, and you're in a hurry, you can see your bill on the app, and then you can pay it.
I love it.
Just walk out.
See you, Cirque. I got it paid, man. That's Open Table, free app, really good app. I use it to make reservations all the time. Johnny, I am skying my way to London, England, but I thank you for being here. Pip, pip, cheerio. Go to johnnyjet.com. That's the website. And don't forget to sign up for his newsletter. It's free at johnnyjet.com, and his Twitter and his Instagram are at johnnyjet. Thank you, Johnny.
Thank you. Have a great trip.
Safe travels. Bye-bye.
You too.
Leo
Bye-bye.
Laporte, the tech guy. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Taking your calls, talking the talk, walking the walk. Keep those calls and letters coming in. Rick is on the line from Albuquerque, New Mexico. Hi, Rick.
Hi, Leo. How you doing?
I'm well. Thanks for calling. How are you?
I'm doing okay. You had a previous caller that reminded me of a episode from the IT Crowd.
It's a British show.
Yeah.
And it's just about a couple of 3-4 guys in the basement who are the IT people for a company. And it's the funniest show if you've ever done IT or tech support. They're just great.
Yeah. Have you tried turning it off and on again?
The IT Crowd. I don't know if you ever would have a show in the United States that was about an IT department.
They actually had a pilot for the show for the United States, but it never got run.
I don't see that on the. But kudos to British television.
Yeah, it's a hilarious show for sure.
Oh, I love it, and you can watch most of it on. A lot of it's on YouTube. Does Netflix have it? Somebody must have it.
Netflix has it, I believe.
Yeah, IT crowd. Yeah.
Yeah.
What can I do for you, sir?
So a few weeks ago, I was looking at my CenturyLink router modem combination, and I thought, I could do better. So I bought a router, an Asus router. I set the modem in bridge mode.
Okay.
And put in the PPPoE password, and everything works fine.
Oh, good.
But my question is, and I've been trying to find online, I can't seem to find a straight answer for this. Is there a way that I can access the GUI of the modem behind the router? A simple and effective way to do that?
Oh, that's an interesting question. I wonder if the router is now hiding that it is, because, well, you're using bridging, right? So the router is not assigned. This is, by the way, I apologize to everybody who's listening, who's going, what is that? What guy talking about? He's got a router provided by his DSL company. Doesn't really want to use that for what, Wi-Fi? Is that why you're doing this?
Yeah, the Wi-Fi and the router portion of it it's just not great.
Right. So he's got his own router in between it and his computers. But what you've done is you've set that new router, your router, into what's called bridging mode, which means it's just a dumb box, a switch, because all the IP assignment is done by the DSL modem router. You sure you're in bridging mode? Because I think if you're in bridging mode, then the IP address should be visible and you should be able to get right to it.
So I have the modem in bridging mode.
Oh, the modem is in bridging mode. That's why you can't see it. Yeah. So yeah, you can't see the modem because the router you bought is assigning IP addresses. The IP address of the modem is not visible.
Right.
Yeah.
So I got to go the other way around?
No, because the whole point of in fact, that's what I was going to suggest. The whole point of not using the DSL modem router for a DHCP is it's old and funky, and it's probably not giving you the best security, et cetera, et cetera. The new router you bought is better, so it's better to have it in between you and the outside world. I think the easiest thing would, if you need to set the settings on that router, is just temporarily take a laptop over, disconnect the new router, and plug your laptop into the old modem, and do it that way. You're not going to be doing this that often anyway.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing, but I was just trying to find a way to not have to.
I think
metal cable.
My guess is, well, somebody's saying maybe you could use the public IP address and try it that way. That might work. Shouldn't work. In order to do that, you'd have to turn on WAN access, and I don't think that's a good idea.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's just designed to be that way. And yeah, I'm sorry that there's not a better solution. And that was as geeky as we're ever going to get on this show. But I do that once in a while, just to make people feel terrible. No, just to make people know, hey, we sometimes actually talk high tech. It's good to talk to you, Rick. I appreciate it. And you know what? You had a great recommendations for the IT crowd. That is why the IT crowd will never be on U.S. television. Right there, what you just heard, right there. You don't want a router that will let you modify it via the public address, because then anybody else could do that, and that's a bad thing. That's a bad thing. 8888 Ask Leo the number. Roger is next in Lomita, California. Hi, Roger.
Hey, Leo, great show. I talked to you about 2 months ago. I'm the senior who's never had a computer or an iPad. And you talked me into an iPad, and I bought iPad for Seniors for Dummies. Been reading it.
Yay.
And so I have a couple of questions. I'm going to wait for the iPad Pro, because my vision is failing a little bit.
Okay.
So bigger the better.
So that's a rumor, right? But you'll know if it's going to happen. It's going to happen this month, so you'll know.
Great. Okay, so first of all, should I buy Apple Care?
You don't take it out of the house, do you? I'm
not going to very often, no.
Yeah, I wouldn't. So there's no give you the reason for my answer. There's no right answer to this. It's peace of mind, but what you're buying is insurance, obviously, right?
Right.
And Apple makes money on this insurance. Any company does. This is a profit center for Apple. So I generally choose to self-insure. You know, statistically, over the lifetime, your lifetime, hundreds of devices, it will work out better for you not to buy the insurance. On the other hand, if you're prone to breaking things, or you just don't like the unknown and you'd like to have the certainty that if something goes wrong, you're going to get it fixed, buy the Apple Care. Apple's really good with this. I doubt they make that much money on it. They don't overcharge for Apple Care. You might even look at Apple Care Plus, which will allow you to replace the device if you drop it and break the screen. Remember, Apple Care will not.
Oh, okay. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, that's not device. That's not device replacement.
Okay.
Apple Care is essentially extending the existing warranty for another year.
Oh, okay. So, okay, gotcha.
So you got a warranty for a year anyway.
Got it. Okay, my other question is, I'm in an area, because I'm going to get the iPad with Wi-Fi and a carrier, and I have all 4 carriers in my area that I can get it from.
Okay.
And so the cheaper one I'm probably going to go for. But what would happen if T-Mobile or Sprint went bankrupt after I went with them?
Well, I can't guarantee that you'd still have service. It seems unlikely.
Okay.
It seems unlikely. These are too big to fail. We need 4 carriers. In fact, that's one of the reasons that several mergers have been, nixed by the federal government. I think neither of those companies would go under. They would be sold to somebody else. Seems highly unlikely that they would be chased out of business and have to fold their doors. But something goes bankrupt, you'll lose. Really truly bankrupt, I guess you'd lose the money you put into it. That's not going to happen though. You'll have plenty of warning before that happens. All right, let's see. Yeah, I have time to start a call. If I have to, I'll bring it across the hour. Let's start with go to Tamar in Los Angeles. Hi, Tamar.
Hi, Leo.
Hi, how are you? Could you pick up the phone?
Sure. Yep.
Yeah. It's a little echoey in that room.
Is that better?
Much. I can hear your sultry tones.
Okay, good. I'm having a problem with my time machine. It's the Apple product.
Oh, I wish it were a real time machine. I keep going back to the Middle Ages, and I'm trying to get to the 18th century. That's the call I'm waiting for. You're talking about your Apple backup time machine.
Yeah, if anybody would be able to do that, it's probably Apple that will come up with that first.
I would be in line for 6 hours to buy that.
6 hours.
Hey, Tamar, we're going to have to take a break for the news at the top of the hour. Would you mind holding on for a couple of minutes?
No problem.
All right, hang on there. We'll help you with your time machine. I keep trying to go back to Henry VIII, and I get cavemen. What's wrong with my time machine? Leo Laporte. Someday, the tech guy will be the time guy. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. More of your calls right after this. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, talking high tech as we do each and every weekend right here on your radio. I'm glad you're here. If it's computers, the internet, cell phones, camcorders, home theater, MP3 players, this is the place to get it fixed, even if you have a time machine. Tamar in Los Angeles has a broken time machine. Unfortunately, it's merely her time machine backup on her Apple computer. What's going on, Tamar?
Well, I've been trying to make it work for several months, and it'll work a while, and then I get that message that says time machine completed a verification on your backup on airport time capsule, but time machine must create a new backup for me, and they want me to start all over again.
Ay, caramba.
And this happens about every 3 weeks or so. And I do have Apple Care, and I've been on the phone with Apple Care many afternoons. They've escalated me to the high-up troubleshooters, the people, and they have me email copies of my console entries, and they try to figure out what's wrong, and they tell me it's fixed, and then it works for another 3 weeks or so, and then I get this same error message. And while I know you can't fix it over the phone with me, when do I say to them, that's it, no more, I want a new gadget?
So you bought a time capsule.
Yes.
Which is a router with its hard drive built into it that is designed to back up over the network using the time machine software in your computer. And it sounds like it's doing it successfully. It's making a complete backup. It's even verifying it. You don't get any failure warnings or anything like that.
Well, to me, this is a failure.
Well, no, clearly this is, but it doesn't say at some point, we ran out of room or anything like that.
Oh, no, it's like 2 terabytes or something, and there's no way I'm filling it up. It's not that.
I wonder if there's a physical problem with that hard drive.
You mean with my computer's hard drive?
No, the time machine. There's a hard drive in your airport. And if that hard drive were... See, so what it sounds like is happening is it's making a complete backup. And then for some reason, we're trying to figure out why, it decides that backup, nah, let's start over.
Right. And every 3 weeks I have to call up the Apple guy, and they go with me, and they tell me how to start it all over again.
Do they give you a hint as to why they think that's happening?
Well, they look at, like I said, there's this console thing, and he'll say copy from 5 minutes 32 seconds to 5 minutes 5 seconds. There's something he'll tell me to copy this and email to him, and then he'll call me back and he'll say, okay, I think this is a problem, and he'll have me do it over again. I mean, these are high up guys. It's not just like the regular AppleCare guy. And, I've done that a couple of times already. And can I walk in and put it on the table and say, I've had this piece of machinery and I want another one?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Not that, but here's my concern: that what if it doesn't fix it? It may not be related to that actual piece of hardware.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then, and the other question is, if I do that, how do I get everything off of there so that
you don't need the backup. You don't need the backup unless you erase stuff and you want it back.
Well, I also have iDrive, so I have two ways of backing up.
Good for you.
One far away.
Good for you. I'm proud of you. You don't have to worry about your data. I would say you don't need to worry about what's on the time machine because you've still got your originals and your iCloud backup.
But I mean, what if whoever gets this piece of...
Oh, yeah, you want it wiped. Absolutely.
How would I do that?
That's an interesting question. Can you mount the time capsule on your desktop computer and see it as a drive? If you could erase it there. Apple has a secure erase built into the operating system. I'm worried though that you're going to replace it with another one and the same thing's going to happen because it's not anything wrong with the time capsule, but it's something...
That's what the guy told me. He says, I don't believe anything's wrong with the time capsule.
That's why they haven't offered to replace it. Yeah. Well, I'm seeing here and looking on the Apple support site about people with similar issues, which these are probably the same kinds of things that Apple tried to fix. That's just, it could be a network issue. You've baffled me.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, not at all. I will put a link in the show notes on how to erase a time capsule, thanks to a table in our chat room.
I did see it does mount in the Finder, so I could just get...
Yeah, that's probably what they would have you do is to... let's see, use software update to download... How to verify or erase an airport time capsule disk. Open Airport Utility. Click the Disk tab. Select Airport Time Capsule Disk, and there's an erase button. Oh, that's nice. So, you can choose a secure erase during that. So, Apple does put that in the Airport Utility. That's good. That's the way they should do it.
But you think that it's probably not the airport time machine?
Well, I don't know. Obviously, the Apple support guy does. But you have every right, by the way. And because you live in California, the lemon laws say that you could bring that in and say, look, you've tried how many times now?
At least 3 times.
Yeah, you've tried 3 times to fix this. It's still broken. I want a new one. And I think they would be nice about it. The Genius has a lot of leeway. Even if Apple's policy were not to replace it until 8 times, the Genius can say, you're right. I'm so sorry, Tamar. This is terrible. Here, have a new one on us. So if you're nice and you say, look, I keep doing this and it keeps breaking. I'm at wit's end. I called the radio show and everybody in the world heard this and he didn't know what was wrong. So can you please just replace it?
Okay. And
I think they'll replace it.
Then what would I do if that one goes wrong? Then
my
computer.
It's not that it's something wrong with your computer. It's a complicated setup and there's something going on possibly with your network, possibly with settings. I don't know.
And it's not even something that I could hand them the computer and the time machine.
Yes, absolutely. You could
have to go through the router.
If you were willing to do. Oh, but it does have to. Well, no, but you're giving them the router along with the time cap. The time capsule is the router.
Oh, so it doesn't have to route into my
no, they could. You could bring them the whole thing. You could ask them, "Hey, Apple, would you like me to bring the whole thing in because this is not working?"
Okay.
Yeah, I have to admit I am not a fan in general of Time Machine. I prefer to use. I just prefer to use different third-party software for my backup. But so it could. I mean, it could be the best solution for you would be to stop using Time Machine. That's the software you're using. You can still,
is there another software that?
Yeah, you could still use the time capsule. Yeah, because that time capsule drive is just a network attached drive. So you can use any backup program. I love Super Duper, and I would recommend it.
Okay.
Yeah,
if I bought Super Duper, would it give me instructions how to make it work with the time machine?
Yep, and it's free.
Oh.
Now
that sounds like a better solution.
Yeah,
I think I'm doing that thing where you keep trying the same thing and expecting different results.
It's called insanity, yes.
Insanity, exactly.
And it's making you insane. It's from a company called Shirt Pocket Software. They have a paid version, but you don't really need the paid version. It would be fine. Maybe you do for the time capsule, I'm not sure. But they call it the perfect complement to Time Machine. I call it the perfect replacement for Time Machine.
And does it also do the thing where in order to get on the Internet, I have to route it through the time capsule?
Yeah, see, the time capsule is your router as well as a backup drive. Really think of it as a router. You really have an Airport Extreme with a built-in hard drive. And that's why you're using Time Machine to back up to it. It doesn't need to use Time Machine. That's just Apple's software. I don't like Time Machine. I think there are better solutions like Super Duper. Okay. So here's how you fix it. Start using Super Duper. You can continue to use your time capsule. Think of that as your airport router, because that's what it is, with a hard drive in it. And you're backing up to that hard drive.
Okay.
So I would erase the hard drive still. Install Super Duper. Super Duper has very good explanations. It's shirt-pocket.com.
Okay.
And you can it has a built-in scheduler, so it'll automatically on. It doesn't do. Okay, here's what it doesn't do. That thing where you look like you're going through space and you're seeing your previous files fly by you.
Yeah.
Doesn't do that.
Okay.
Can you live without that?
I think I can.
Thank God, because that thing is a waste of space.
Okay.
You don't need that.
All right.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to ask about iCloud. I'm kind of on the older side and the less trusting side.
Hang on, and this is a good question. I don't want to deal with it because it's a big issue. We'll take more. We'll take more, and we'll talk about iCloud when we come back. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. On and on we go. Tamara is still on the line in Los Angeles. She was worried about iCloud, and boy, you're not alone, are you? A lot of people are worried these days.
You know, I've totally rejected it. Even when I got my cell phone, I don't connect my cell phone to the computer over iCloud, and I don't connect my iPod to the computer over iCloud. I just
you use a physical cable and you hook it up to your computer, and that's how you back it up.
Right, because I don't want everything in my computer floating around in a cloud. I don't even understand where that is.
Well, I think there are some actresses in Hollywood right now who wish they had thought the same. Now, it's not...
I don't have any pictures of myself.
Yeah.
Not that, but I'd make notes in my iPod, and I used to be able to just plug in my iPod and they would go into my computer, and now they tell me the only way I can do that is if I join the cloud, and I don't want to do that.
Well, let me talk about it a little bit. First of all, Apple insists, and I believe them, that there is not a structural problem with iCloud. There wasn't some way hackers could just willy-nilly get into iCloud and steal stuff. That these were very targeted attacks using secret questions, password guessing, and other issues unrelated to iCloud to steal these actresses' iCloud backups. That's what they got. We're pretty sure that's what they got. And in the backups were not only photos, but everything that was on their phone or their computer if they used it for that matter, or their iPad. So the question that's important for you is iCloud safe from hackers so that people can't steal it?
The question important to me is it safe from the government? This whole thing with the NSA looking into people's stuff. If my stuff is in the cloud, then it's easy for them to look into the cloud. I want my computer private.
Yeah, I understand that. You have to work pretty hard to keep the NSA out of your computer, I hate to tell you. If they're looking at you, they're going to get to you. So they have all sorts of ways and means. But you're right. If you are storing, well, but if you're sending email, if you're using the internet in any way, one should, I think this is the prudent thing, to assume that if you're using the internet in any way, that via lawful warrant or subpoena or secret national security letter through a FISA court, that the federal government can intercept and read your communications, your documents, your files, your pictures, everything. That we know. There's no secret about that. Now,
so cloud or no cloud?
Cloud or no cloud. And well, because the cloud, internet is the cloud. So anything that goes, if you send email, that's the cloud. If you, everything you do, where you surf the net, all of that's on the cloud. Can they get into your hard drive and your computer? Not without help, not without you either installing some bad stuff on there or they sneak into your house at night and do it. Now, that's the truth. However, what the NSA says is we're looking for terrorists. We're protecting the United States soil against terror attacks. We do not and are not allowed to, by our charter, look at American citizens' internet traffic unless it is sent internationally and in general, unless it's communications with somebody we are concerned about. We're suspect. So we know they're collecting a lot of stuff. We know in some cases they've been less than scrupulous about what stuff they collect. That many people would be, their data would be collected by accident, by proxy, so yeah, the NSA is collecting this stuff. Whether they're using it in any way against you, currently, no. And I don't want people to, if you get really paranoid, you'll never use the internet again. Because it's like everything you do on the internet is public. If you use Facebook, it's public. If you use Twitter, it's public. If you use email, it's public. Whether you know it or not, it's ultimately public. So there is a risk. There is a risk. If the government's what you're worried about, I wouldn't worry about it too much.
Don't worry about it. I mean, it's not that I'm doing anything, but like I make notes in my iPod about radio shows that I listen to, and then they might think, oh, she's subversive. She listens to this
and okay, so that's a reasonable experience, fear, because we know in pasts, some governments, including, by the way, our own, have targeted political people. Martin Luther King had the FBI spying on him. Because at the time, J. Edgar Hoover felt he was a threat. And that was illegal and wrong. And they've admitted to doing it. And the files have been seen. And there's no promise that that couldn't happen again. So, yeah, that's a reasonable fear. I don't know what to say about that. I don't let it stop me from storing stuff on the cloud. If the feds want to look at my stuff, they can. It's wrong for them. We have every right and expectation for privacy. And so on a larger political point of view, this is wrong. They shouldn't do it, and we should fight against it. But on a more personal level, I want to use the internet. And I'm not too worried about the feds banging on my door and hauling me in. And I don't think you...
We need you, Leo, so we don't want them to do
and Tamara, I don't think probably you should worry. Now, if you were of Arab descent... If you were dark-skinned, if you were politically outspoken, then maybe you should worry. Currently they're not dragging people in, 1984 style, but who knows? Next year they could. And everything they're saving, by the way, they're saving for years. So you might be giving them ammunition. I wish I could say, don't worry about it. If you've not done anything wrong, you have nothing to worry about. That, by the way, is not a good defense either because, look, we have the right under the Fourth Amendment to be private against unreasonable search and seizure. So we have this right. This is a constitutional right that they are, in my opinion, breaking. But that's on a political level. On a personal level, it doesn't. I just go ahead and do it.
Okay, maybe
I don't know what the answer is on this. I'm giving you the range of viewpoints. I think it's so convenient to back up to the cloud. Look, if you use any internet service, even our sponsor Carbonite, which is great, and they get a subpoena or a national security letter, they don't have any choice. Google, Apple, Microsoft, none of them have any choice. They have to hand that stuff over.
That's about if you're talking about a terrorist type of thing.
Well, that's what I think. You have to go to a judge. They have to go to a judge to get it. It might be a secret court, but there is a process.
Right. But
I don't think they're looking over your shoulder.
What if they just want to know if you're a Democrat or a Republican and try to figure out that kind of stuff?
Currently, I don't think they're doing that, but I can't promise you they're not.
Yeah.
That would be illegal, but we know they've done illegal stuff. So I don't know what the answer is. I don't choose to act in a paranoid fashion. I want to live my life. And you know what? If they haul me away, I hope that we can make enough noise that they'll let me go. and you too. And you too, Tamar.
Okay.
Look, you're welcome. They have every right and duty. Look, I know many people in law enforcement. I even know some NSA analysts. And these are patriotic people who absolutely are trying their best to protect us from some very bad actors. And we know there are bad actors out there. We know it. It's in our face in the headlines every day. And I thank God they're there to protect us. And I do believe they are protecting us. I also believe that constitutionally, as American citizens, we have the right to be safe from unreasonable search and seizure, from our government spying on us. And I think that it's perfectly conceivable that any government could do things bad with that data. And you just have to make the choice yourself. I don't think I can do it for you. Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. More calls right after this. Hey, we're going to have more of the Tech Guy Show in just a bit. Our show today brought to you, as always, by Gazelle.com. You're wondering, how do I get all these neat new gadgets Leo's talking about? How do you do it responsibly so that your old gadget goes to somebody who will love it and take good care of it? Gazelle.com. You'll get cash. Somebody else will get your gadget, and you'll get the latest, greatest, newest thing. You know, I go through a lot of gadgets. If it weren't for Gazelle, I'd be broke right now. Gazelle buys old gadgets at a very good price. They make it very easy, too. In fact, if you're looking at a new gadget, for instance, maybe you've ordered the iPhone, but it's not coming until, I think some people are now stretched out to Thanksgiving, to November. And you're going, well, what am I going to do? I don't want to give up my current phone. Well, you got 45 days from the time you lock in your quote on Gazelle.com to the time you need to send it in if you want to take advantage of that quote. So it's a great way to get a price without having to commit to anything. Then you just can decide later, what is it I want from Gazelle? I want a new cell phone, want a new tablet, an iPad, iPod, Apple computers. Gazelle makes it possible by giving you a top price. Offers are good for 45 days on cell phones, 30 days on everything else. That gives you time to get the new device, transfer the data, set it up. They'll even wipe your data for free if you forget it. Gazelle's paid nearly $170 million out to over 1 million customers. Free shipping, fast processing, and a great price. Take a look. Gazelle.com. Get that quote now. Lock it in. It's yours. And that way, you know, it makes you feel a little bit better. I know this is it's a good way to recycle your stuff. Going to a good home. And I'm getting some money in my pocket. You'd be surprised how much money is sitting in that old gadget drawer. Gazelle.com. Find out. Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. I'm kind of depressed by our last segment. Don't know what the answer is on all this, except for us to stand up in a democratic republic and to say, we don't think this is right, to write our members of Congress and say, we don't want the government spying on us. We want to make sure that congressional oversight works and that there is a due process. We live in a nation of laws. We want those laws to protect our privacy as well as to protect our shores. And we don't want the terrorists to win, to shut us down and keep us from doing the things we should feel free to do, like use the cloud. This seems like it seems obvious, and we got scared after 9/11. Let's face it, we got scared, and we passed some laws that went too far. They overreached. The Patriot Act overreached. It's time to pull back and write your member of Congress and let them know that they need, and many members of Congress, including many of the authors of the Patriot Act, agree, by the way. Jay in Providence, North Carolina. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Jay.
Hey, Leo, I'll try to make it quick. Can you tell me your current favorite 2 or 3 browsers for use on a Mac and why they're your current favorites?
Yeah, well, first of all, I'd start with Safari, which is Apple's own browser. It works very well on a Mac. It's tuned to be used on OS X. I think Apple's done a lot of great things in Safari. Having said that, I'm glad to have it there, and I use it from time to time, but 99% of the time I use Google's Chrome. And I'll tell you why. Google, I think, has done some great things with Chrome. For instance, and I'm sure Safari will catch up on this, Chrome comes with Flash built in. Remember, Apple doesn't like Flash, doesn't include Flash on the computer. And there's good reason. Flash is a security issue. It's a dog. It's just terribly slow. It doesn't get updated enough. Google takes care of that by building it into Chrome, updating it automatically, and isolating it within each Chrome tab. So if Flash crashes, it only crashes a tab in the browser. That's one good reason to use Chrome. You don't need to install Flash on your Mac. You just use Chrome and let Google handle the security issues. I also like Chrome's synchronization capabilities. If you set it up, Chrome will automatically not only synchronize bookmarks, but synchronize Chrome extensions and so forth. It's just a personal preference. Chrome sometimes is very slow on the Mac. If you have performance problems with Chrome, then I would use Safari, which is never slow on the Mac. I don't use Firefox, although there's nothing wrong with it. Those are the 3 I would consider. There are, kind of weirdo browsers out there, but those are the 3 I would consider. And Opera is not a weirdo, but I would consider Chrome, Safari, and then maybe Firefox if you feel the need for another browser. I'm very happy with Chrome, but unless you want to use Flash, Safari is probably fine. Which one do you use?
Actually, I've been trying Aurora, which you're probably familiar. It's a variant of Firefox, but that's just left over from my old Windows thinking.
Yeah, Aurora is good. Firefox is an open source project, so the code can be used by anybody to make a variant. And Aurora was a response to some things that happened at Firefox, et cetera, et cetera. I'm pretty happy with Chrome. Now, if you're Tamar and you're worried about, if you're a little paranoid, you might not want to use Chrome because, of course, one of the things that comes with Chrome is Google. And unless you're using private browsing in Chrome, Google's getting all the information about what you're doing, where you're going, It doesn't bother me because I love Google now, and I love Google to know it gives me better search results because it knows what I search for, things like that. But some people, that bothers them. So for privacy reasons, we've talked about this before. I really feel like Apple has said, kind of planted a flag in the sand and said, we're going to be the privacy company. So for privacy reasons, Safari is a good choice. But I like things like I can talk to Google's Chrome. Actually, in the next version of OS X, Yosemite, I think you'll be able to talk to Safari too. I kind of like, when I've got Chrome open, I can say, okay, Google, and search for something, and it'll talk to me. I use that a lot. Some people won't. If Chrome is in any way crashy or slow or bad, don't use it. Safari's fine. Ken in Sherman Oaks. Hi, Ken. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Leo, a long-time listener and alumnus of Screensavers.
Thank you, sir.
Wonderful, wonderful show. I have a Mac Mini with a 120 SD internal hard drive. And I follow Leo's laws faithfully, of backup and everything, but I keep only my applications on this drive, but I continually am running out of memory. And when you look at
running out of storage or RAM?
Well, running out RAM, there's 16 gigabytes of RAM.
You're never running out of RAM then.
I'm never running out.
So you're running out of storage, not memory. You're running out of hard drive space.
Right. So when I'm using because I do a lot of Photoshop, Illustrator stuff.
Oh gosh, 128 gigs is nothing.
Yeah, but in terms of
but that's what happens. A lot of people are in that situation because they wanted a solid state drive. They're more expensive for gigabytes, so we get smaller drives because we don't want to break the bank. But now you've got to do some management because not everything will fit on there. OS X fits on there fine, but you're using giant Illustrator files. You're using other stuff, right?
Right. Yeah, but I'll empty them, but in the Finder where it lists the size of each of the folders, why doesn't that add up to the number of gigabytes?
It should be close. Is it within 10%?
No. No, there's something else going on that I can't figure out.
So there's a big chunk of storage that's disappeared, and you don't know where it is because it's not all adding up.
Right. I'm just wondering if I'm in a wipe, clean, and start from scratch.
No. What you need is a visual hard drive display utility. I'm trying to remember the name of the one I've used on the Macintosh. It lets you see what's being used. Is it Tree Size? Is that the name of it? The chat room will remember it. They're my brains externalized. Tree. Now is this? No, that's for Windows. That's a good. By the way, recommend that for Windows. There's a number of great Windows programs that do this. There was a great one on the Mac, and I'm for the life of me cannot remember the name. I will find it. That will show you a visual display of where your storage is, and then you'll see a big chunk of color, and you'll say, "Oh, I'll tell you what. Let's take a break, and I will find that before the next segment." Leo Laporte, the tech guy. I am Leo Laporte, the tech guy. That guy there with a mustache. You can't see the mustache on the radio, but trust me, it's luxuriant.
Wait a minute, you can hear it.
That's Dick DeBartolo, Mad's maddest writer. We also call him the Gizwiz because each and every week he brings us a fabulous gadget, much as he does World News Now on ABC and so many shows around the country. Hey, Dickie D.
How are you?
I am great.
This is not my gadget, but I'm throwing it in only because you mentioned last week that you use a wired mouse.
Yes.
And I use a wired mouse, too, mainly because my desk is so sloppy, I usually lose cordless mice.
The wire, you just trace it back to the computer and you can find it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
so
a
this
Sateki.
Is from, yeah, exactly.
Now, I love the desk light that you recommended, the Sateki desk lights.
Yeah, it's color changing. And all my keyboards light up blue, so when it gets to blue, you just click the button and it freezes on blue. Or if you're a killjoy, you can shut the light off.
So you have a Sateki keyboard and mouse?
My keyboard, I think, is from a company called Lux. Because it does rainbows, it does fireflies.
Dick's like a 6-year-old girl. He likes color. He likes rainbows.
Everything.
He likes LEDs everywhere.
Yeah. All right, but now we're going to talk about manly things.
Manly things.
Okay. Manly things that I'm not very good at. Are you a good workman, home craftsman with tools?
Oh, terrible. Terrible. I reminded of the Jackie Mason routine he used to do. He says, "We Jews, we don't have screwdrivers. If you want to borrow a screwdriver, I'll give you a butter knife."
Yes.
All our screws have butter on them. Yeah.
I can take a power saw, draw a thick magic marker line down the center of a 2x4, and by the time I'm done, I'm halfway, about 4 inches down the other end of the. Yeah. I just make a sharp right.
So, but you were always doing home improvement gadgets. I don't understand it.
I know. Well, I get Dennis to do it. So this is pretty nifty, and this attracted me because of what it does. It's from Black & Decker. Yep. Sorry, the company is now called Black Plus Decker.
Really? They don't say and, they say plus?
No. All the boxes, all the ads, everything is black. I have no idea why, but Black
some branding expert got to
Decker has a new 20-volt max lithium cordless drill driver with AutoSense. Okay. Now, AutoSense, it's pretty nifty. It has a little microprocessor inside, and it judges the rate of change of the screw, so it knows when the screw has hit the top of the wood, and in 3 milliseconds, it stops the drill.
So you'll never overscrew again.
That's right.
That's kind of cool.
And then if you want it countersunk, you hit the trigger again, and it does tiny little turns. It goes, exactly. And then when you say, oh, that's low enough, then you take your hand off the trigger, and has an LED light to shine on your work. The 20-volt max system interchanges with 30 other Black Plus Decker gadgets. And it's $79 now on Amazon.
And you'll find it at blackanddecker.com because no one's figured out how to do a web
Oh, that's
site
very funny.
Yeah.
That's very funny.
They can't do a plus in the web address. So there, blackanddecker.com.
And I also like it because it has a great little illuminated keyboard. You push it.
What?
It lights
Wait
up.
a minute. The drill has an illuminated keyboard?
Yeah. It lights up blue if it's in drill mode. It gives you a bar that tells you the life of the battery, or it lights up red if it's going to drive a screw. Yeah,
That's just
I like
crazy.
That. Yeah.
That's crazy talk.
Crazy talk.
You'll find Dick D at his website, gizwiz.biz. He's made a little home there underneath the browser icons and a little nest. And he also, there's a great place to go on that website called the What the Heck Is It contest. We're playing for autographed copies of Mad Magazine. It's easy because, yeah, there are 12 autographed copies for the right answer. You're going to see a close-up picture of a gadget, but there's twice as many for the wrong answer, so you can't really lose.
Yeah.
And I don't. I'm looking at these, and I don't know what the heck. I'm sorry to say, it looks like a. I can't say it on the air, but it looks like something a plastic surgeon might use.
Okay.
It couldn't be that.
Well,
Gizwiz
I cannot give any.
cannot confirm or deny. Gizwiz.biz to play the game. Dickie D, we love you. Thank you for being here. Bye, Fred. And,
You're welcome, pal. Last week you sent people to my website.
Yeah.
More than 1,300 people went there to show that my Squarespace.
Oh, we tried to bring it
website would not go down,
and it did not go
happen.
down.
Nope.
1,300 people all at once. That's pretty cool. Should we do
Pretty
that
neat.
again? Let's see how many people we can get there this time. Gizwiz.biz. It's a Squarespace site, and we keep saying Squarespace doesn't go down, and there you go. Gizwiz.biz. There's the Black Plus Decker drill right on the front cover. By the way, blackplusdecker.com also works. Jeff Needles.
Oh,
tried
it does? Oh,
Yep.
okay.
Black,
Okay.
but you have to spell it out. P-L-U-S. So there you go.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, that's stupid. Okay.
Well, you can't. I don't think it's an interesting question, but I don't think you can put a plus sign in a web address. I think it would be ignored.
Oh, my gosh.
That's a good question.
It's a darn good question.
Why don't you try to register gizpluswiz.biz?
Oh, I think I will.
Thank you.
And I'll use the plus for the first one, and you have to spell it out for the second one. It'll be very convenient.
Let's make it as confusing as possible. You've only had Black and Decker for 100 years. Why not change the name for no apparent reason? Why not?
Exactly.
Thank you, Dickie Day.
Okay, bye, pal.
All right, we'll talk later. So we were talking before, Dick, a few minutes ago. Our caller wanted to know what's filling up my hard drive. And I could not for the life of me remember the Mac program that I had used. But thanks to our chat room, they came up with it. It's Disk Inventory X. This is free from Derlien, DERLIEN.com. And there's, as I mentioned, similar programs on Windows as well. And what these do that's so great is they'll show you visually with a map with colors and everything what's being used up on your system. So you can go there and you can see, there's a big red blob. What is that? And you can click on it. It'll tell you what it is. So this is a nice little tool for finding out what's using up all that hard drive space. And, the truth is you could probably clear your caches. A lot of space sometimes taken up by browser caches. So go to your browsers, the various browsers you use, and clear out those the cache. Not the history, just the cache. You might look in temp folders, or especially if you was using Adobe Illustrator, there's probably a lot of temp files lying around. It seems like it would be a lot of work to erase and rebuild the drive, although I should say I do that fairly frequently. I change computers a lot, but also I just think it's a good thing every 6 months or so to start over. You've downloaded and installed stuff you don't use. I do it with phones, too. It's a nice refresh. It can really make a difference. So I'm not going to discourage you if you want to erase the hard drive and start over. It's just a pain in the butt. It'd be nice if you could just figure out there must be something that has taken up all that space, and this would be a very easy way to do it. So thanks to the chat room. Thanks to Heather Hammond, my phone ranger, for picking up the lines and helping me do the show. Of course, Nathan Staten, our musical director, and board op, working hard back down there in the Sherman Oaks facility at the Premier Networks. Thanks to all of you for joining us. Love doing this show, and I hope I'll see you again soon. I am Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. Have a great geek week. Well, that's it for the Tech Guy show for today. I'm Leo Laporte. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget, the Tech Guy is just the tip of the iceberg. We do nearly 30 shows now on the Twit Netcast network, and you'll find them all at twit.tv. We talk about Windows on Windows Weekly, Macintosh on Mac Break Weekly, iPad on iPad Today. You get your daily dose of tech news from Tech News Today, and our weekly roundtable show, This Week in Tech. It's all at twit.tv. And I'll be back next time with another great Tech Guy podcast. Thanks for joining me. See you next time.